Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khatamin al-anbiya wal mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ask Huda, your forum for asking your questions. With me I have our Shaykh, Dr. Muhammad Salah, to answer your questions today. And we have had a lot of questions over the last few days, so inshallah we'll go straight into them. So Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh,
Wa alaikum
Shaykh.
assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, Shaykh. So the first question we have is from Brother Kamal Muslih. He asks, is it better to pray 1 or 3 rakahs for the witr?
Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina astafa la siyama al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. The least of the best form of praying witr is to pray 2 units as shafa, even, and 1 unit as witr, wal shafi wal witr. Wal watr, so al witr is the odd rak'ah, the last rak'ah. But if somebody just happens to pray in 1 rak'ah, for instance, if he is traveling and he prays qasr and he prayed the 1 rak'ah witr, it is valid. But the best of the kamal, the best of the least of the perfect, the least of the perfect form of praying witr is 2 rak'ahs, shafa, and 1 rak'ah witr by itself.
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. Just to remind the brothers and sisters, our number is 00202 38555 248 and 249. Our lines are open right now, so you can call in straight into the show, or alternatively you can email us at ask@huda.tv. Yes, Shaykh, another question from a brother Malik Atta from Pakistan, who has about 3 questions regarding zakat. He has a house which he lets other people rent, and so he's a landlord, and he gets an income from that. He also himself lives in a rented house and pays rent for that as well. How should he calculate his zakah?
Yeah. Well, whenever the zakah is due, as we know that there is something called the hawl, which is the lunar year. If the zakah is due today, whether it's Ramadan or any other time, based on the cycle when it began for a person who possesses the nisab, you pay the zakah on the net, not profit, the net positions. So you already collected rent, but out of this rent you spend on yourself and your family, and you paid rent for a property that you are renting, and perhaps you spend some maintenance for the property that you rent to others, etc. All of that is not calculated. What will be calculated and what will count is the remains of all of that. How much is left in your account? How much do you actually possess? This is the part which you pay zakah on it.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. Also, this brother also has some land in his name, which he intends to use in the future for his own personal accommodation. Does he have to pay zakat on this?
No, this part is not zakatable because this is a personal possession and property. It is not a saving, nor is it an investment.
Okay, great. And also, if he has a debt, does he have to pay zakat if this debt actually exceeds his income?
Well, there is a difference of opinions in this regard, whether somebody who owes a loan or a debt has to pay zakat even if he has an nisab or not, since he is in debt. And what we chose, even in the program of fiqh of zakah, that if the debt is due immediately, then pay off your debt. And if you do not own any nisab, then you're exempt. Perhaps you're eligible to receive zakah. But if the debt is due on a long-term plan, on installments, so what will be taken out the part which is due immediately. But for the long-term plan, as long as you still maintain certain position, that part is zakatable.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. We have Sister Ahmed on the line from the United States of America. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Ahmed.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes, Sister, please go ahead with your question.
Yes, I have 2 questions.
Right.
My first question is, what does a woman on her menses do the last 10 nights of Ramadan? What can she do to benefit from these blessed nights? Or does she miss out?
Right.
And my second question is, I have gold for adornments from my mahir for about 20 years now. I was always told you don't have to pay zakah on it. I have been watching Huda channel, and what I understand is I have to zeki on it. The question is, how do I make up what I missed in the past 20 years? Of course, since then, I have exchanged old for new. How do I calculate what I don't have anymore?
Did you collect your dowry already, or is still deferred?
No, I took my dowry already 20 years ago, and
Yeah,
I have not zekied on it since then.
Okay, so you took your dowry and it's in your possession, and by itself or in addition to other possessions that exceeds the value or equivalent to the value of 595 grams of silver, for instance?
Okay.
Is this true?
I don't know what it was. It was about 3,000 dinar back then, 20 years ago, and I just had it
How much is it in dollars?
in dinar, 3,000.
Okay, equivalent to how much in US dollars?
I'm not sure what that.
Okay, well, I can't figure out because I don't know how much is a dinar.
Okay.
And whether it's an Iraqi dinar or Jordanian dinar, or we don't know.
It's a Jordanian dinar.
Jordan, okay. So I'll look into it, inshallah, and answer you. Jazakumullah khair.
Barakallahu feek. We have Brother Kareem on the line from Qatar. Assalamu alaikum, Kareem.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa
Wa
alaikum
alaikum
assalam
salam
wa
wa rahmatullah.
I have a question, but in the hadith it is mentioned that if a person does the Fajr prayers, and then after finishing Fajr prayer, he is indulging in zikr till the sun rises, and after sunrise he does a 2 rakat prayer. If he does that, he gets the benefit of performing a Hajj. I understand that this is applicable for men who will pray the Fajr prayer with a congregation. How about the case of women who will pray individually in their house? Does the same thing apply to them?
Right. So the question is regarding, so just to clarify your question, brother. Your question is that the fadila of doing dhikr after Fajr prayer right until shuruq time, sunrise time, and then a little bit after that, then it's permitted to pray. So you're saying that because the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said that the person gets the reward of performing a hajj and umrah, you're asking, does this apply to women as well? Is that right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, that's the question.
And
there.
the answer in brief, yes, it does apply. With regards to the ibadat and the reward for the ibadat, there is no distinction or difference between a male and a female.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Brother Kareem, for that question. We have Sister Halima on the line from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Sister.
Alaikum assalam. Good evening.
Good evening
Wa
to you
alaikum
too.
assalam, sister.
And we'll say good afternoon because it's afternoon where we are, so alhamdulillah.
Okay, good afternoon. Ramadan Mubarak.
And to you too, Sister.
Okay. It's like I'm in Medina, and a lot of women sometimes when they want to pray, they pray in front of the hotels, and the hotels are about 2 to 3 minutes walk to the mosque, and they follow the imam. Is it okay or not?
Are the rows stretched and connected all the way to the hotel property or in front of it, or they just
No.
take it? They just decide to
it's
pray
like
right
they-
there, even though there is plenty
from
of room.
No, from the hotel, as in from outside the hotel, you see the roll. Maybe some steps to the roll, because it's like the women don't go. The sahu is not really. It's not. I think there are some distances from the main sahu, and they stay at the hotel and they just pray with the imam in front of the hotel.
Okay, we'll answer inshallah in order.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sister. We have Brother Yaqub on the line from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Yaqub.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Brother, please turn your TV volume down, otherwise there'll be some confusion in the answering of the question.
Okay, I've
Jazakallah
just
khair.
done that. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
Wa
rahmatullah.
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please, I would like to know if it's permissible for a Muslim to participate in the election of a non-Muslim into a position of authority, like in politics.
Okay,
That's my
got your question.
Yes, we got your
Got it.
question. Jazakallah khairan. Jazakallah khairan, brother. Yes, so another question we have from brother Nas Bilal. He doesn't give his location. He asks, can I give my zakatul fitr to my sister?
Yes, if she is eligible and if she is poor like any other person, she's your sister and she is not legally under your financial responsibility, so it is permissible. And we said before that the Prophet ﷺ answered one of his companions when he asked him whether it's permissible to give the zakah to his qaraba, his kinship, his relatives. He said, given in a charity by itself, you receive the reward for it as sadaqah, a charity. But if you give this particular charity to somebody who is a relative, then you receive double reward. The reward of giving in charity and the reward of upholding the ties of your kinship.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. We also have another question about zakat, and I think your program on zakat is going to be very popular, inshallah. Brother Muhammad Umar from Pakistan asks, how to calculate zakat on a gold watch he has?
First of all, it is not permissible for men to wear gold, whether it's a gold watch, glasses, or pen, or whatever. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam notes that one of his companions was not aware of the fact that it is prohibited for men in Islam to wear gold and silk, so he was wearing a gold ring. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam took it off of his hand and he threw it away. And he said, يَعْمِدُ أَحَدُكُمْ إِلَى جَمْرَةٍ مِّن نَارٍ فَيَجْعَلُهَا فِي يَدِهِ. Why would one of you wear or tend to wear a burning coal in his hand or around his finger? So after the Prophet ﷺ was dismissed, some of the companions suggested to the gentleman, to the other companion, to pick up his ring. He said, no, not after the Prophet ﷺ have thrown it away. Wearing gold for men is absolutely haram. Whether it's a watch or glasses or anything that may be worn. Unfortunately, we see nowadays some rich people wear gold from head to toe, and many people think they have invalid excuses, of course, but in this condition, of course, gold is zakatable if it reaches an nisab, but I would like to remind you that wearing gold for men is absolutely prohibited and it is a major sin.
So the brother can keep the if he can keep the watch if he doesn't wear it, but he has to pay.
Or
zakat
if you
on
love
every
your
year.
wife, you can just pass it on to her.
Absolutely, or your son, inshallah ta'ala. We have Sister Sakina on the line from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Yes, sister, could you please speak up into the phone? The voice is rather faint. That's better. Excellent. Jazakallah khair. Please present your question.
Okay, I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, it's a rather simple one. It's just, I've heard that bells are haram. So I just want to know what was the ruling on it, and is it haram in like every situation, or like for pets, is it okay to wear it on pets and around things like that?
Did you say bells?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we got that question right.
And bangles also, bangles and anklets, if they're also allowed or not.
So banging of the anklets and bracelets that women jewelry wear, is that allowed or
Yes.
not? Okay, we got that question.
And the second question is, it's a woman, she gets married, but she doesn't move in with her husband yet. Like, she's only had the nikah, and they're planning on moving in later. After the nikah, but before they move in, is it obligatory for her to obey her husband in everything he says?
Right, so just to clarify that question, so they've had the nikah, but they're not necessarily living together.
Yes.
Is that right? And then, so are the rules of obedience for the wife to the husband, do they still apply? Is that your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, we got that.
All right, jazakumullah khair.
وَإِيَّاكُمْ. And we have another brother from the United Arab Emirates, Brother Danish, on the line. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, brother, please go ahead with your question.
First of all, I'd like to say that your prophet is, mashallah, very nice, and really inspired by it. I have a question. A person working in a bank,
Yes.
is it allowed to work in a bank? And like if I don't know, Islamic banks and other banks are different. So how is it if a person is working in a non-Islamic bank? So is the share halal?
No, his income is not halal. If he's working in a riba-based bank or any firm that deals with riba and he's a part of that, then his earning and income is not halal. And we urge him to find another job as soon as possible before he dies in this condition.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair for your question, brother, and Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for your answer. A brother emailed in and he said that unfortunately he committed zina, relations outside of marriage, which unfortunately led to a child being born. The mother is non-Muslim, she is Irish, but alhamdulillah she accepted Islam and he wants to marry her. However, his parents are not happy with this marriage because of the cultural differences and because of her past. Also, he is not sure of her intentions for converting to Islam. However, she is adamant that she did it, and she says that she did it for the sake of Allah. What is the ruling on the possibility of him getting married?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah the Almighty says in Surah Al-Isra with regards to this great crime and awful sin of committing adultery or zina, fornication. He says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Allah forbade us from approaching or going near to zina. Don't come near to zina. And that's why He ordered us in the first place to lower our gaze. And He forbade us from having a private meeting with the other gender. It is not permissible for a man and a woman who are not mahram to each other, nor a husband and wife, to coexist in the same place behind closed doors. If they do, then the third is a shaitan, and the outcome is guaranteed, which is committing the fahisha. So by taking these divine measures, one will protect himself and his family and his offspring from indulging into this heinous act of adultery. And I say heinous because it's considered amongst the destructive sins. In Surah Al-Furqan, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Ibadur Rahman, the servants of the Most Merciful, He said, وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَلَا يَزْنُونَ وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ يَلْقَ أَثَامًا يُضَاعَفْ لَهُ الْعَذَابُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَيَخْلُدْ فِيهِ مُهَانًا إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ وَعَمِلَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا فَأُولَئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا وَمَنْ تَابَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَإِنَّهُ يَتُوبُ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَتَابًا. These verses describe that Ibadur Rahman, they do not commit shirk, they do not kill without a just cause, they do not commit adultery, and whosoever does so, يَلْقَ أَثَامًا, he has committed a great sin. What is it? يُضَاعَفْ لَهُ الْعَذَابُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, will receive double punishment in the hereafter. وَيَخْلُدْ فِيهِ مُهَانًا, and he will reside eternally in fire. But according to other narrations, Allah exempt any person other than the mushrik from residing eternally in fire. So who can afford to stay in fire for so long for committing adultery? The punishment for adultery, brothers and sisters, is very severe in Islam for a person who is either a bachelor, never been married before, and it is even much severer for a person who commits adultery while he or she was in a state of ihsan or happened to be muhsan in the past. In order to avoid this evil habit, which is widespread in the Western society, in the non-Muslim society, and it is very contagious through the internet, through the satellite TV channels, and so on, we must comply with the divine command of lowering our gaze and recognizing our identity and protecting ourselves. Just imagine this situation. This man impregnated a woman out of wedlock, and now he has a son or daughter who is waladu zina, an illegitimate child, a son or daughter. Islam does not allow the father to bear the name, does not allow the son who is born in zina to bear the name of his father, because he's just a biological father. He's just a biological father. He is not blameworthy, the child, but the father is, that you bring to this dunya a child out of wedlock or to commit adultery while halal is lawful. the lawful is available and halal is available. So why don't you seek the halal from the beginning? If this woman whom you love so much and you're about to commit adultery with her, that you're obsessed about her love, and you approach her in marriage, wouldn't it be better from the beginning? Now I turn to the parents who say, no, she's not from our culture, she's not from our society. You got to understand that the person who's to be blamed from the very beginning is your son, because this woman was not a Muslim. And unfortunately, I have some non-Muslim girls who came up to me in America and they say that they've been approached by Muslim youth, that this person said it is okay, and in Islam it's sufficient to say, give me yourself in marriage, and I agree, and now we're having a legitimate relationship. There are some sects who ascribe themselves to Islam, and Islam is totally free from them and disown them, who believe so. There are people who are very educated in worldly science, there are doctors who can just invite a nurse or a client to bed and say, stay after me, I give you myself in marriage, or this filth. This is all false, and would like to alert everybody to the danger of that. This person is the one who repels people away from the path of Allah most. He is not only committing adultery, but he is misleading people, and he is spreading the fahisha. So if you want to blame somebody, you better blame your son. And if this woman have accepted Islam sincerely and truly, that means she repented. Because we got to understand that it is not permissible to marry an adulterer or an adulteress simply because we think that, we got indulged in a legitimate relationship, so in order to secure the future of the child, or no. Because it is not permissible to marry an adulteress or an adulterer unless if they repent. And I believe that if this woman accepted Islam, that means she have repented in such a way that she really deserves somebody to look after her and to make up for the mistake that he has committed. So if she is sincere in her turning around and in returning to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and behaving, I would highly recommend that you should take that decision and marry her. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. We have a couple of callers on the line. We have, first of all, Sister Bilqis from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Sister.
First of all, I must commend you for your tireless dawah. May Allah in His infinite mercy reward you abundantly.
Thank you so much.
Ameen. I wanted to know if my money was be in my for a year before I pay the card. Put the card on, but it's not up to a year. It's just 9 months. Can I pay the card because I want to pay the card? Can I do that, please?
So, Sister, just to clarify, because the line wasn't clear, so you've had money for about 9 months, and you're asking if you can pay the zakat on it already, without the Islamic year going past. Is that right?
Yes, because I want to pay in this month of Ramadan.
Right. Okay, because you want to get the reward of paying in Ramadan. Okay, got that question right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, and did you? Okay, that's fine. Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah, we'll answer that in due course. We have Brother Muhammad on the line from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, Akh Muhammad.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes. I would like to ask you about if someone got married already from a foreign woman, but unfortunately the contract hasn't been documented yet. So I would like to ask you, if this marriage is going to be
Muhammad,
unlawful or lawful?
Could you explain to me,
Muhammad, halal or haram?
Muhammad, how would please can you explain to me how is it possible that somebody already got married but the contract was not completed or the contract is not initiated? What does it mean?
Just that guy that I'm talking about is already working in a hotel, right? Just he met this woman, which is a Christian. But
without going into details, Muhammad.
Yes, please.
Wait a minute. Without going into details of the story in the background, when a couple get married legitimately, even if the marriage verbal approval and acceptance before the witnesses was processed, that's called a contract. If you're talking about processing the legal document in the office, in the court house, in the court, etc., that's a different issue. But we have to be very clear that if it is marriage, then if they are married legally and Islamically, that means the contract has been already taken place and processed.
But do you know Do you know, Sheikh, what I'm talking about? It's also contract. It's just some paper that you get it from a lawyer, and just gonna.
So they did not register the marriage. This is what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you just make clear that marriage is gonna be unlawful or lawful, halal or haram, or just because he would like to continue in that, and and the girl, she would like to be a Muslim, but he would like to continue with her. If that marriage is gonna be halal or haram, or just it would prefer for him to continue or just to stop or to leave here or something like that.
Okay, I got your question.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Brother Muhammad. We have Brother Zubair on the line from Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Zubair.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sir, I have 3 questions.
Yes, okay.
The first one is, I would like to know your opinion about people who follow Ahl Hadith, whether its principles are to the right path of Islam.
Follow what?
Follow the Ahl al-Hadith group, yes? Ahl al-Hadith group, Jamiat Ahl al-Hadith group.
Next, okay.
Okay, your next question, please.
The next question is, why is it so that we are not supposed to say Bismillah before we begin with Surah Al-Tawbah from Quran?
Right, okay. So why we don't say Bismillah before why we do not recite the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim before Surah Tawbah? And yes, your third and final question, please, brother.
That is, in Saudi, I have seen some people read an extra rakah after the Imam has finished an obligatory salah.
An obligatory salah?
In all salahs, in all obligatory salahs, I have seen them reading an extra rakah.
Maybe Muhammad...
The reason they give is to make up for all the missed salah.
Maybe they're making up a rak'ah that they missed, Zubair, but to pray an extra rak'ah in any prayer that has designated number of rak'ahs, that will invalidate the entire prayer. So you better ask them.
No, I have asked them. The reason they have given me is that they read it just because they have missed the salahs. I mean, during the days of ignorance of importance.
Simply, if you pray an extra rak'ah, that will make up for a missed salah, that would join the current salah and it would not make up for any missed salah. If you want to make up a missed salah or a qaza, that will be prayed entirely after the prayer, the current prayer is finished. But you do not join it or pray an extra rak'ah to the current prayer.
Yeah, that's the question I want to ask.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Brother Zubair. We have Brother Zaid on the line from Libya. Assalamu alaikum, Zaid.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to ask some questions about Tarawiyah after Salah Isha. Certain Imam making Tarawiyah after the Tarawiyah. But I'm from Gambia.
Oh, I see. Okay, from Gambia. Okay, right.
Yeah, so in my country, we're going to pray in the masjid, in the mosque.
Right.
After praying the Isha, we pray Tarawiyah. Maybe around 1 o'clock again, they used to go pray again.
Right.
And starting pray from 1 to 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, but in Libya here, at the place, the area I'm staying, we don't have that system because we pray after Tarawiyah, after Salah, to pray after Tarawiyah. Okay, so come pray again for starting 1 o'clock.
Okay.
To go to 4 o'clock.
I got your question.
So that's what I want to ask Sheikh to advise me how I can do that.
Sure, inshallah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Sheikh.
We got that question down. And yes, it's now time for us to go to a break. Inshallah, please stay tuned and join us for Ask Huda, and we can continue to answer your questions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Each day we'll take one step closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to the Quran, to our way of life. Each day we will explore the acts of worship that we do, and we will find out how they relate to our hearts, how they impact our souls, how they help us understand the reality of existence. All of this and much more in our show, One Step Closer. All of you are invited to join us. Share your stories, share your aspirations, share your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'll be happy to have you on board. Join us in One Step Closer.
The story of Adam alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Adam the names of everything. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam approached that fire and he was surprised. The arrow killed the boy. If you want to be saved in this world, get on the ark of Islam.
نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين.
Our schools, what is missing? Join Dr. Mamdoor Muhammad in Our Schools, What is Missing? He will be discussing the most common mistakes made in our educational systems.
What type of teaching they teach him, what they say to him, what books they select for him to read, what things that he listens to, what games that he begins to play with.
How to perfect the work in the school.
Our goal is to improve our school.
And we'll see practical solutions from the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger.
Most of the criteria for success for us had been designed for us by our Creator.
Our Schools, What is Missing? In Ramadan on Huda TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ask Huda. And just to remind you, you can ring in on our lines which are 00202 38555 248 and 249. And you can also email us at ask@huda.tv. So we have actually we have a caller on the line, Brother Saif from Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Saif.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, brother. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. This is regarding my aunt's family.
Right.
Okay, they're in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, her husband, he developed a pain in the head 14 years ago. And it's a severe pain with no medical reason.
Right.
And 7 years ago, his daughter, she developed some pain in the body. It started off by she couldn't urinate for, say, a few weeks. And it all, one point there, I mean, it's a continuous urination then. And after Maghrib, the pain starts for her, I think till midnight, something like that. But only, say, 4-5 hours in a day after Maghrib. And the son, he also started getting this similar thing, but I think he's Hafiz Quran, so it does not affect him much. And my aunt herself, she got TB, and then she took a whole medication for 1 year, and it was supposed to be, she's supposed to be cured, but it started all over again. So, and whenever they keep money, it just disappears. They don't know what to do with the money. Whenever they keep it anywhere, it just disappears. So this thing is for a long time now, and whoever we have shown, they said that it is a very powerful jinn who is controlling them, and they just give up, after a few weeks of treatment. They just give up, saying that we cannot do anything. So we would like just to know if there's any people that can help us, or any suggestion.
Yes, brother, Jazakallah khairan. Very sad story. But inshallah we'll get to this, inshallah ta'ala. And we have Sister Subia from the United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Walaikum salam. I have 3 questions regarding my two-year-old daughter. Actually, I lost my daughter and my husband in a car crash 2 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Actually, I have read this hadith that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that in the grave, the dead person is squeezed by the grave. And he was talking about of the most noble of the companions who invited him to Medina. And then he said even if it were a little child, it would be squeezed. Now, I believe in Allah and I believe in Rasul, and what he said must be true. But as a mother, my heart really goes out to this, and I think my 2-year-old would be squeezed in the grave. So could you please just shed some light on it? And my second question is that when my daughter was dead, I did not look at her. Like, the minute I came to know that she's gone, I just left her in the hospital. I did not go back to the hospital. I did not go for her shrouding or bathing her because I didn't have the heart. I just felt that I would be out of control. So does that mean that I have missed an obligation on my daughter, or should I have been there for her? And my third question is that I don't see my daughter often in my dreams. My husband comes to me all the time, every month. Nearly every month I would see him, but I never see my little one. So does this mean that Allah gives permission to my husband to visit me? But why is it that I don't see my little one? Like, should I really believe in dreams, or just believe that she's there for me in Jannah and just rely on it? Like, is she maybe angry that I was not there at the last moment? Thank you, that's all.
Did they die in a car accident, you said?
Yeah, both of them.
Inna lillahi
My
wa inna
husband
ilayhi
was
raji'un.
29 and my daughter was 2-year-old.
May Allah have mercy on your entire family, those who passed away, and may Allah give you courage and strength and increase you in patience. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen, ameen.
We all belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever He gives, whatever He takes, we all belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He tests us with the good and with what seems as bad. But I assure you that for your child is currently, his or her soul is in paradise. Because those who die under the age of puberty for Muslim parents are guaranteed to enter heaven, insha'Allah Azza Jal. And perhaps for your patience and your sabr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept their intercession for you, and insha'Allah you will join them in paradise as well. As far as dreams, there are different types of dreams. There are dreams from Allah, dreams from Satan, and there are hadithun nafs, where if somebody is thinking about something constantly, then he or she will get to see that in their dreams. So we do not really choose what to see in dreams. This is something our souls will be in another world, far away from our bodies. That's why the physicians would tell us that the dream, which when we get up and narrate it to the audience, to our beloved ones, and say, I've been here and there and I made this and this and that, and I said to my husband and my husband said to me, basically it was not even a fraction of 1 single second. This is another world. So if your husband comes in your dream and he tells you good things and you get to see him, alhamdulillah wa shukrillah, but there is no significance whatsoever that your husband visits you once a month versus your daughter you do not see at all. This is something that we do not really choose whether to see or not to see in a dream. What concerns you are 2 things. The fate of your child, which is guaranteed, as I told you, in heaven, insha'Allah Azza Jal. And definitely there is no punishment for any person who did not commit any sin because they were under the age of puberty. No punishment in the grave nor in the hereafter. As far as your husband, since it was a car accident, I hope and expect that he too is a shaheed, and there is a reward for that. May Allah make it easy for him and admit him to His paradise. The other thing which I want you to be constantly concerned about, your dilemma is big, but the reward is in proportion with the greatness of the dilemma or the disaster. وَبَشِّرُ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah the Almighty says, and give a glad tiding to as-sabirin, to the patient ones, those who endure calamities patiently. الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. So it's a big test, but it's a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as long as you're enduring it patiently. Allah gives you the bishara that He will give you an immense reward and He will bless you, insha'Allah azza wa jal, and will cover you with His mercy. May Allah make us all amongst those who will be eligible for Allah's mercy. And once again, accept our condolence and may Allah grant you patience.
Ameen. Jazakallah khairan for that, Sheikh, and may Allah reward the sister as well for her loss. Brother, we have Brother Saud on the line from the United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Salam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So Brother Saud, you call him from Saudi?
No, I'm calling from UAE.
He's from UAE, so next door.
Okay.
Inshallah. Yes.
I have two questions, Dr. Salam. When we pay zakah, do we have to recite anything like any niyyah or something? And the other one is...
No, you don't have to recite. No, you don't have to utter any niyyah. Nor do you have to inform the recipient, hey, take this as zakah, or zakah of this particular investment at all. Maybe your brother is in debt and whatever, so you give him the money and you say this is a gift. Your intention, this is a zakah, that's accepted. You don't have to utter an intention.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan, Brother Saud, for that question. Sheikh, we had a question regarding, it just came yesterday, regarding, there are some people who argue that when people go to graves of pious people, and unfortunately the many shrines around the Muslim world, that some people argue, well, we're not actually worshipping them, we're just asking them for intercession, because these people were close to Allah, and we are not, we are sinners, and we are not, maybe we fear that our dua is not going to be accepted. So is there really a problem with us going to the people, to the dead people, and asking them to intercede on our behalf?
This practice which you just mentioned right now is the identical shirk. This is the exact shirk, which is invoking or seeking the help of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, particularly if this person is dead. Whether he was righteous, or even the most righteous person, or even if it was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I don't know what happened to our mind and intellect. I don't know what happened to our heritage. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam grabs hold of his nephew, his cousin, Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him and his father. And he was riding behind him. And Abdullah ibn Abbas was approximately 12 or 13 years old. So when you tell your child who is 12 years old, tell him this statement, that means it has a great importance. And that's why you tell everybody about it, even children. And the child narrates it to us. Very clear, very explicit, doesn't need any interpretation. Son, young boy, إذا سألت فاسأل الله. If you ever ask, then you should only ask of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. And if you ever seek help, then you should only seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With regards to the dua, the Quran says, فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان. If my servants ask you concerning me, I'm very near to them. Just ask them to invoke me and to respond to me. I will answer their dua. Surah Ghafir, the previous verse was Surah Al-Baqarah in the course of fasting. Surah Ghafir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. He said, invoke me, I shall answer your dua. Never ever try to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through any intermediaries. The only wasila which is approved by our deen is number one, your own good righteous deeds. Second, the dua of a live person. You may ask him to invoke Allah for yourself. We did speak before in details about the wasila. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. But here I would like to remind the viewers with a verse in the beginning of Surah Al-Zumar. The Meccan pagans used to have the same argument. They did pray to idols that they made and carved and shaped by their own hands. And when the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "U'budullaha wattaquh wa ati'un," worship Allah alone and fear Him and obey me, and do not worship other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَا لِلَّهِ الدِّينُ الْخَالِصِ. Religion should belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all sincerely. They say, وَالَّذِينَ اتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفَى. How close the statement of the Meccan pagans to the statement of those who say, we only go to those people because they were righteous, so ask them to intercede before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, we worship them not except to bring us closer to Allah. They recognize that there is Allah, but they've taken them as means of intermediaries. No, 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 no. And any person takes another person as a bridge between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his deed is rejected. Especially if you go to a dead person. Any dead person is in need for our dua, for our seeking forgiveness and mercy for him. If there was any person that whom you love so much, then follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Follow his footsteps. Didn't he say, لا تجعلوا قبري عيدا? And didn't he say, اللهم لا تجعل قبري بعدي وثنا يعبد? He predicted that some people will do that, and it is happening. Unfortunately, many people inherited that from their cultures who were mingled with non-Muslims, and this is the evil influence of living amongst non-believers. You inherit some practices and you mingle them with the Islamic traditions and you believe it is okay. Many people I have seen standing towards, they step outside Al-Haram al-Nabawi. They face the qabr of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They raise their hands and they make dua, which means they're giving their back to the Qibla. Then they turn around and they face Maqabir al-Baqiyah and they make dua. Whom are you invoking? Whom are you asking? This is very weird. It's not just ignorant and idiot, very weird. Because Allah says, I hear you, I can see you, I'm the only one who can answer your dua. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, which means it is only you whom we worship, and it is only you whom we seek help. Then we turn to make dua and say, إِهْدِنَا. And then on the other hand, we turn around and say, yeah, but I cannot ask you directly. I would rather ask somebody to ask you. This is the pagans' traditions, and this is the traditions of Christians nowadays and non-Muslims. Islam is all about tawheed, and this practice is mere shirk, and Allah does not forgive shirk and setting partners to Allah in worship. Remains for me a very important comment, which is, why do some scholars, especially official governmental scholars, bury their heads in the sand and they do not object to that? Sometimes they attend functions in these areas and their celebrations and commemorations. Why? Because they get paid. And they get a commission on that. And I'm a witness to that. If any person sees somebody who's making sujood before a grave of a dead person and making dua, what do you call this?
This is shirk.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it permissible in Islam to perform tawaf around anything other than the Kaaba?
Of course not. No?
Okay. I can present a video and several videos right now, seeing, and you can pull them out of the YouTube, seeing people making tawaf around the pier or the grave or the maqam or the stand of dead people. What do you call this? But you will find some people who are wearing a turban and say, but their intention is good and they're trying to do this and they're entering from one door and exiting from the other door. Yes. This is all fake, and those people are the misleading people who mislead the ordinary people in the ummah. So those who have been misled, are they free from any blame? Here we declare to them, and on the day of judgment, استبرأ الذين اتبعوا من الذين اتبعوا ورأوا العذاب وتقطعت بهم الأسباب. Everybody will try to disown others. Ya ikhwani, my beloved brothers and sisters, Islam is a very simple religion. The core of the deen is tawheed. Only invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only seek His help and forgiveness. Do not ask, especially in making dua, from other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not even from prophets, not even from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you heard about somebody that he was a holy or sacred, even though we don't have this concept in Islam, the only holy is Allah and whatever Allah makes holy, such as the holy places or the Quran. Okay, there is no holy person. Human beings are not infallible. Okay?
right.
The
Yes.
only infallible was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and some of the prophets. So what we need to do is just face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely in our dua. If you do not make but the dua of Surah Al-Fatiha, it will be sufficient. I hope this will help a little bit, because unfortunately we ran out of time. Perhaps in another time we can specify a great portion to address the wasila concept again.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. As the Sheikh mentioned, we have come to the end of our time, unfortunately, but inshallah we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. You can email us your questions in the meantime at ask@huda.tv. Also, you can visit our website, which has been recently redesigned with some new features. Please go ahead and have a look on www.huda.tv. And of course, if you wish to support the channel in any way possible, remember this is your channel, and you can email us at support@huda.tv. Inshallah, we'll hope to see you same time, same place tomorrow. Inshallah, we'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free. Each time my heart will beat, your name will resound with heat. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.